here from Fun Hands-On Learning. Today I wanted to show you some math activities that we did this week. These activities I did with my 5 and 6-year-olds, so that will kind of give you an idea of what age range these are for. This first one is an addition activity that I did with my just turned 5-year-old. And this one is called Fishing for More. Now my 5-year-old is he's basically doing kindergarten work, even though he's considered pre-K at this point still for the school year, but he's doing kind of kindergarten, early kindergarten work. So what this activity does is it works on addition, and I'm going to show you what I did because I actually added in a new component to this activity to make it a little bit more fun. Now this adding activity comes from my Early Learners Math curriculum, the unit on addition. So it comes with these cards that look like this, okay? And then it also comes with these little fish that look like this. Now, what I did is I decided to make this an actual fishing game. So what I did is I took some paper clips like this and I put them on the fish, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can use this activity in a little bit more of a fun way. So originally I made this activity just without the clips and just like you see it, and I've shown it in other videos, but today I'm going to show you a new way to do it. Okay, so this is the mat for the activity, and it is a fish bowl. And then the activity also has these cards, and they have numbers on them. So what you're going to do is the kids are going to actually add the numbers. So they're going to just take a card. So I'm going to take this card, for example, and this says 5 plus 3. And what they have to do is they put 5 of this fish in their bowl, and then they add 3 of this type of fish, okay? So normally what I would have had them do is just take the cards and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these, and then add on 3 more, 3 of these kind. So 1, 2, 3 of those, and then they would count them all to see how many. Now, the way I decided to do it today is I added these paper clips so that they could actually fish for them. All right, so I have this is supposed to be my fishing rod, even though it's a net. I have an actual fishing rod with a magnet that came with a puzzle, and I cannot find it, and it's driving me crazy. So, and I'm a very organized person, so when I find it, I know I will find it eventually, but I cannot believe I cannot find it. It's driving me crazy. But, so I'm gonna use this one. This one is for catching, goes with a puzzle for catching bugs, but I do have one that goes with a fishing puzzle. So all you would need to do to make this activity, to extend it like I am and make it a little bit more fun, is to have some sort of fishing rod. All it is just a magnet here. So you would need just a magnet, a string, and then some kind of something for them to hold. So if you don't actually have the puzzle piece one, you could make your own. And then the reason I put the paper clips on the cards is so that it will pick them up. So my card here says I'm going to add 5 plus 3. I need 5 of this kind of fish. So I'm going to fish for 5 of those. 1, whoop, oh come on, let's not make this video too long. 2, 3, 4, whoop, that's the wrong one, 5. Okay, so the kids are gonna fish for that, and then it says I'm going to add 3 of this type of fish, this trout or whatever it is. All right, so I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 of those guys. All right, so now I have 5 of these and 3 of these. I'm going to add them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the kids can just count them, and now that I know my answer. Now, the last step is, after they know their answer, you can use manipulatives or a dry erase marker. I'll show you how to do that. I brought out a couple of different types of manipulatives. I have just number manipulatives is what I mean. So anything with numbers on them. You want numbers 0 through 9 or 1 through 9. I don't think I have any problems that are going to equal 0. Okay, so these ones are, I've showed them in my videos before, these are number robots. They actually turn into robots. My little kids, my pre-K kids love these. Even actually my older kids like these. This one's the number 1. But you can see that it's been turned because somebody was turning it into a robot. If you're interested in seeing what they look like as a robot, I've shown these in other videos, so you can check out some of the other videos on my channel. But what they would do then is, so now that I know 5 plus 3 is 8. They would look through here and find their answer. That's 6 and 9. I think this is 8. This is 8. That's 3. Where is 8? Here's 8. Okay, so they would find their answer, and they would put it at the top of their fishbowl. So this is my number 8 fishbowl. 5 fish plus 3 fish equals 8 fish. And now I'm done, and I can take another card and do the same thing over again with a new card. So that is just one example of some number manipulatives you can use. Obviously, you can take that mark for a minute. You can use any kind. I like these ones a lot. These are just number blocks. They have the number on them, and then they have a number representation on the other side. So here's 10, and then there's 10 dots. You know, you get the idea. Here's 2, and then 2 dots. And so then they would just go ahead and obviously find their answer, which is number 8. And they would put that one at the top of their fishbowl. All right, so there's another example. Now I have, okay, here's some more. I'm just giving you examples, so in case you want to go out and find some. These are numbers from a Melissa and Doug toy.
This one is for one of the red ones.
Oh, okay, just keep that out. Sorry, my son's telling some. Okay, so these ones are from a Melissa and Doug toy. I like these ones. They're just hard wooden numbers, and they have a representation of the number on them. So here's 2, and then it has 2 things of tape. These are like school ones. Here's the number 4, and it has 4 markers on it. Number 3, it has glue. And then, again, they would find the one that has 8, and they would go ahead and put that one on their mat. So, just some more examples. So you can use puzzles or numbers from toys. This is from a school bus where you put the numbers inside the wooden school bus. But also you can use numbers from puzzles and things. So, just some examples. You can also just get some magnetic numbers. So, let me do that. Let me show you that. All right, so in here, I have, down here in these rows, I have magnetic numbers that you could go ahead and use. So the kids would pull out their number 8, put it on there, and then they could just use a magnet. So if you don't have any of these kind of manipulatives, the last way you could do it is just with a dry erase marker. Now I have my mat here. I didn't laminate it, but I put it in a plastic sleeve, if you can see. Let me show you. I can't even pull it out. See, it's in this like plastic sleeve. I'm pulling it out. And so because it's in the plastic sleeve, I can use a dry erase marker on it. Otherwise, if you don't have the plastic sleeves, you would have to laminate it, obviously, to use a dry erase marker. But if I can get it back in here, I will show you that. Okay, so I have 5 fish plus 3 fish equals 8, and of course I can just use my dry erase marker to write the number 8, and then erase it when I go on to do the next one. So then they would just, once they're done, slide these off, take the next card, and now we're going to add those 2 numbers, and so on. So there's a whole stack of cards here, and they're just going to practice addition with these different combinations. Okay, so some more math I have from this week is spin and cover with dough. This is another math activity from my Early Learners math curriculum. This is on the unit on telling time. So I did this activity this week, and there's a couple of different maths. There's this one that you see here, there's this one here, and there's this one here. So you could do the activity, oh, and there's 4 of them. So you could do the activity with different ones. Now like this, let's see. Yeah, some of them are easier than others. So this one only practices to the hour and to the half hour. And then like this one practices to the hour, half hour, and the quarter hour. All right, so what you need for this activity are the mats, a spinner, and then some Play-Doh. I get these little spinners in packs off of Amazon. I just searched for game board spinners, and these came up, they're fairly cheap. You can also go ahead and just use a paper clip and a pencil. You can hold the pencil and spin the paper clip on that, and that works just as well. All right, so what the kids going to do is they're going to make little balls of Play-Doh and cover up their answers. So I'm gonna spin here, and as that's spinning, I'm gonna go ahead and make my little ball of Play-Doh. Now, let's see what it lands on. It landed on 6 o'clock. So I have to look at my mat and cover up 6 o'clock. I'm gonna look here, and there's 6 o'clock, cover it up. And they would continue on, they would spin again, and make another ball of Play-Doh and cover up the next one. So that says 5:30. So I will go ahead and cover up 5:30, just like so. And they're going to continue until their entire mat is covered. Now, one thing I wanted to mention with telling time, and something that I do with my kiddos, is I always like to use some clocks first when I'm introducing telling time. So in my Early Learners Math curriculum, there are posters and things that help you introduce each concept. And so I would have the poster out and use that as introduction as well. And then I would pull out one of my real clocks and we would practice with them. So I have 2 of them here that are basically the same. One just has Mickey Mouse. But they're basically the same, and they come with the little clock pieces, and you've probably seen them before because I use the clock pieces for a lot of things because they have numbers on them. They have numbers and they're different shapes and they're different colors. So you can use them for shapes, colors, numbers, whatever. But these are on Melissa and Doug set, or the puzzle, or the clock here is, yes, Melissa and Doug Classic Toy. And what we do then is we talk about how the numbers go through 12, and I use my my poster with all the information from my, actually this is a different one, from my Early Learners Math curriculum. I don't have it out here, but that's what I would use while I'm introducing it. And then I would have the kids take these pieces and put them on the clock, and they would say, this is hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, hour 4. So that's just when you're introducing the hours. And so then we would just go around the clock. We'd keep the minute hand here and we would just go along. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So that's just basic, teaching them the o'clocks. Then when you get into the minutes, then I like how it has the minutes on the clock here, so you can kind of introduce the minutes as well. And you can count by 5. So that's what we would do. So we would point it at an hour. So let's say we're going to point it at 11, and then we would say 11:05, and then it would be 11:10. And as this one's moving, you kind of introduce how this one slowly moves. Then we've got 11:15, and then 11:20, and you'd have the kids count 10 or 5, 10, 15, 20 as they put them on. So they would take, the 5, and they would put it on physically, and then they would say what the minutes are. So 5, 10, so here, let me show you an example. Okay, so I would literally have them physically put it in there and then say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So they're getting the idea that when I see a 1, yes, that's a 1 for an hour, but it's also 5 for minutes. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and they physically put it in as they say it. 35, you get the idea. They're going to go around the clock and physically put them in as they say it. And the reason I say to do that is because a lot of times with your special needs kiddos, they need that physical touch for their brain to remember and for the memory aspect of it. It's also good for, I talk about this a lot in my videos, for muscle memory, for all kids, not just special needs kids, but for all kids. That muscle memory of seeing the 4 and knowing that's 20. Seeing the 4 and knowing that's 20 minutes. All right, so anyways, I'm not gonna go too much more into depth with it because there are resources in my math curriculum that you can use to help you introduce telling time in that unit. Like I said, there's like the posters and things like that you can use. Okay, so that's just something I like to use with my telling time activities. There's one more telling time activity that I did pull out this week, and then we are going to put all the telling time activities away because we're almost done with our school year anyways, and we're just going to start doing some review for the last week of school. But for this week, we did pull out this one as well. This is also from my Early Learners Math curriculum. It's Tell Me All the Time, and you've probably seen it in other videos, but it's basically just cards with cats and clocks, and it has the matching times, but they are fish. And so you have to, you know, feed the cat. Actually, these fish have already been eaten, it looks like, but you're supposed to feed the cat its lunch with these fish. And so obviously this one was 8:30, and so you would put the card on there, 8:30, and then you go on to the next one. Here, this one is 1:30, you'd match it up, go on. This is 2:15, you'd match it up. Obviously you're gonna have your cards mixed up. Now this would be, oops, sorry about that. Let me fix you. This would be a great activity to do on a pocket chart. So if you have a pocket chart, you just put the card in there and then they put the answer inside of it. I don't have my pocket chart out right now, but this is a great one, and we have done this one on the pocket chart. Another thing you can do when you are, if you laminate these cards because you want to use them over and over again, if you're making a center station in your classroom or something, you can put Velcro on here and Velcro on here, and then when they match it up, well, that's not the right one, but when they match up 2:15, here we go. They would just Velcro it to the card, and then it's not going anywhere and you're not going to lose your pieces. And then another thing that I have done at home when I'm not worried about necessarily losing my pieces in a classroom of 20 kids, they can use Play-Doh and just a teeny dot of Play-Doh, and they can stick it on because it's laminated, and you just kind of use it as sticky, like a sticky glue or whatever, and it kind of sticks just while they're doing the activity, and then obviously they'd have to clean it up and take it off and put it away when they're done. But yeah, so just so that you don't have pieces going all over the place when you are doing the activity. So, all right, that's that one. And then I just have one more little math activity that I wanted to share with you that we did this week. Now, again, these are just the hands-on activities that we're doing. I'm not showing you like interactive workbook pages or anything that my kids also do. They also do some workbook pages along with their math. So they do have the writing aspect of it as well. We do have worksheets and workbook pages that we do, but these are the hands-on activities I'm going to show you, because what fun would it be if I'm just showing you workbook pages? All of these activities is what makes up most of our learning, and then but we also do have the written things as well, but we do less of that than we do of the hands-on stuff. All right, if that makes sense. Okay, but I mean, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. So don't throw out the workbook pages or the the worksheets just because you want to do interactive things. I kind of keep an eclectic approach, as in there's a time and place for everything. So the kids do need to be able to write and put it on paper as well. They can't just do it hands-on, but the hands-on really does reach the kids. It really does make it fun. And I don't know, there's something about it that helps the brain retain the information better when the kids are actually practicing and doing versus just always written and just always doing a workbook page. All right, so there's my little rant. Okay, tell me what you think below if you have comments or questions on that aspect of education. All right, so the last thing is the Shape Trace Activity Center, and really all it is some dry erase markers that we were using, and we were just tracing the shapes, and this is just for memory to remind us of the different shapes. Now as we trace them, we also use the pieces and matched up the pieces. So you can use this with here we go, the pieces I was just showing you if you wanted to, because the shapes are all here. So those pieces that we used with the clocks, we could use that. You can also use these with pattern blocks. I have pattern block shapes, and that's a great tool as well. But what they do is they just take a card, they use their dry erase marker, because I've laminated these, they trace it and they say the name. So this is oval. They have to say the name every time they trace. Oval, oval. Again, for muscle memory and remembering what it is. Then they have to look at their shapes and find the oval. Here it is. I actually have 2 of them, so I'm going to grab that. So they find the shape. Oval. Put it back. All right, so they're going to just go ahead and do all of the pieces. If you don't have all of the shapes as pieces, you can skip that part and you can just have them trace. But I'm going to go ahead and trace this one and then going to get the shapes. So as I trace it, I'm going to go hexagon. And another great thing too that I always point out to the kids that when they do these kind of activities is that the how many sides the shape has. So a hexagon has 6 sides. 6 has an X and hex has an X. So that's how we remember 6 sides for a hexagon. Hex has 6, or hex has an X, 6 has an X. So hexagon. And I might even have them color in the X to just remind ourselves. 6 and X and hexagon. Hexagon has 6 sides. And then of course they're going to go ahead and find the hexagons and place them on here, and it has the number on there to tell them the sides too. I don't know if you noticed that, but the numbers from the clock have many of them have the numbers of the sides. All right, so some of them don't, because once you get up to, here I'll show you, once you get up to like 9 and 10 and 11, I mean, they don't have that many sides, but these ones do. So like 2 has, oh no, that one doesn't. 3 has 3 sides, 4 has 4 sides, 5 has 5, and 6 has 6. So just these ones, I guess, work that way. So, no, you can't even see that. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm talking and I'm not looking at the video, and so I don't know if it's in the frame, and I apologize for that. So that is what we did this week. We just used our shapes, and he had to match them up, and he had to say the word, and he had to remember how many sides the shapes had, and so on. This is another great one to use along with my Early Learners Math curriculum. Or not, this is my Early Learners Math curriculum. To use along with my, if you have a preschooler, my Hands-On to Learn preschool curriculum has a lot of shape activities in it. And each week they do a different shape. And so these are great to pull out when you're doing that activity as well, if you have both curriculum. All right, I will just stop talking there because I don't know, I'm talking in circles now. If you have made it this long in the video, amazing. You are amazing. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye.